Hello and welcome to the news according to Mike C. I am Mike C and welcome to the news. Basically what this is a new blog I'm setting up. It's a new news and current affairs blog. Basically I'll be talking about news and current affairs, science and tech, video games, health, education, the government, politics, basically anything that I find interesting and that I think is worth a mention. Why I'm doing this, it's basically just a little project of mine to see, if there's any sort of like-minded people out there who sort of share my views and that would like to and to find people that will listen to me. Okay. What I'm hoping to achieve is just to create a little bit of awareness and get a little bit of a debate going. It's always good, always gets the sort of creative juices flowing, and just gets a good debate going out, and just to create awareness really for people. My first subject of interest is, I'm sure you've all seen it in the news, it is the email and web use to be monitored under new government law story. This is about basically internet firms to give intelligence agencies access to your information, what you've been doing online basically. This includes what websites you visited, who you've been talking to, how long for, on what dates, things that you've been looking at, your interests, any comment you've ever posted online, they will probably be able to get. Now, this, I found this quite worrying. First and foremost, because it raises all sorts of questions. I think number one being invasion of civil liberty, which in this country as it stands is always at a premium now. It looks like we're going to get even less if this new law goes through. And it's a very dangerous road for the government to be taking, I think, because last time I checked this was a free country, but it doesn't look like it's going to be for very much longer if they get their way. Yeah, basically it would enable intelligence officers to identify who an individual or group is in contact with. They use sort of terrorism and catching criminals as an excuse. Anyone I think with half a brain out there can see that that's exactly what it is, and it is an excuse. What it's really doing is extending the government's influence into just another aspect of our daily lives. It's not going to target just the criminals and the terrorists and whatever. It's going to just target ordinary people, which are hard pressed already. They've got lots of other things to worry about, but this is quite worrying in itself. I think it says in this story that they will have to get permission from a judge before they can actually use this information. But it just begs the question, one, who exactly is going to be looking at this data, and what are they going to be using it for? It's pretty safe to say I don't think they're just going to check up on all our shopping habits. They're going to check on basically everything that we do. The sort of digital world has become pretty ingrained in our lives now, and it's part of who we are and what we do, and they're seeking to control that now. Basically, yeah. This is a comment from Nick Pickles, director of the Big Brother Watch campaign group, called the move an unprecedented step that will see Britain adopt the same kind of surveillance seen in China and Iran. Now, I'm pretty sure none of you would want to live there and under their sorts of government, but this is the way it's headed. Yeah, it's a shock on privacy. It won't do anything to improve public safety. In fact, it will make it harder to catch, because the sheer amount of volume of data going through all the servers, they're going to have to sift through all that. I don't know what they're presuming they're going to do. They're just going to be lucky. You think of how many people are using the internet day in, day out, and they think they can somehow sift through all that information. It's just absolutely ludicrous. It's a pretty drastic step for a democracy, is all I can say. And you know, anyone that worries about their freedom and their civil rights should be worried about this. I think it's very important that the government are challenged on this. You don't know how far they will go, how far they can take it. Soon, you know, in the extreme cases, they could have, you know, video cameras in your front rooms, identity implants in your hands, tell them where you are, what you're doing. This is just some of the steps, you know, and it's been very clear to me over these past few years that the government does lie. The government doesn't tell you all the facts all the time. They only want you to know what they want you to know. They don't really like you thinking for yourself. So if anyone's got any sort of opinion on this, I'd like to hear from you. I'll be posting this on my Facebook page and YouTube to anyone who wants to listen, or anyone that cares. Also, any ideas for anything else I can talk about would be greatly appreciated. I've got a few ideas floating around in my head, but yeah, new ideas are always welcome. So yeah, that's my first blog, and I hope to hear from you very, very soon. This is the news, according to Mike Coakley. I'm Mike Coakley, and that was the news.